Hi, welcome back to our channel, where we will provide a summary and more related content of the Linguistics Research Seminars hosted by Universidad de Salamanca and Universidad de Valladolid. In this series, we will present a Q&A section with our presenters. We hope you enjoy it. As the session on the 3rd of April was too short and we wanted to know more about this fascinating area, we asked Rebecca a few more questions to explore this field in more detail. If you haven't seen the previous video, we invite you to take a look before you continue with this one. Rebecca Clift is Senior Lecturer in the Department of Language and Linguistics at the University of Essex. She studied English Literature as an undergraduate at Durham and went on to do a PhD on misunderstandings in conversation at Cambridge. She taught both at the University of Cambridge and at the University of East Anglia before she went to Essex. She was a visiting scholar at the University of California, Los Angeles in 2002 and is currently visiting research fellow at the University of Huddersfield. Her research interests are in conversation analysis, in which she is an internationally renowned scholar. She has published work on the relationship between grammar and interaction, evidentiality, knowledge claims in interaction, and reported speech. She is currently working on a corpus of video-recorded family arguments. She is Harry Frank Guggenheim Distinguished Scholar in 2024 for her research project Behind Closed Doors: Trajectories to Violence in Intimate Interaction. And now, let's talk to Rebecca. We would like to first thank Rebecca for her collaboration and her involvement in both the seminar and in the post-seminar activity. Unfortunately, we don't have her answers live, but what we present here is the direct transcript of her words. So, we asked our first question to Rebecca, which was, how would you define conversation analysis? We spend our lives in conversation, and conversation analysis, CA, is the best method yet developed for examining how we do things in conversation. It analyzes how participants use both linguistics and bodily resources to make themselves understood to each other. In our second question, we wanted to know how she ended up working in this field of knowledge, and she told us, funnily enough, there's a Spanish link here. After my first degree, which was in English Literature, I taught English in Madrid for a while. It was there, perhaps because I was in an L2 environment, that I got interested in how people make sense of each other, how they understand things like irony and sarcasm. I decided I needed to investigate this further, so I went back to the UK to do an MPhil in linguistics at Cambridge University. While I was there, I started thinking that while it's interesting to study people from different linguistic backgrounds who might expect to misunderstand each other, in some sense it might be even more fascinating to study people who know each other very well, who don't expect to misunderstand each other, such as mother and daughter. So I ended up doing a PhD on misunderstandings in conversation, and the only way to study conversation is to do conversation analysis. This third question is a piece of advice for those of you, mainly students, that would like to pursue a career in this field. We asked Rebecca, what would your advice be to a student who wishes to start their academic journey in conversation analysis? And she told us, I think the essential thing for anyone wanting to do CA is to have a fascination with how people make sense of each other. Why did they say this thing in that way? What difference would it have made if they had done it differently? Or why did they roll their eyes when they could have said something? I would then start by reading some good work in CA to look at how it's done. There is a great paper by Drew and Holt on how figurative expressions and topic transition, which is a model of its kind. If that kind of forensic attention to detail suits your intellectual cast of mind, then do get hold of an introductory text. I wrote the only linguistic introduction to CA a few years ago, which was designed particularly for students who have a general background in linguistics. And just last year, the first ever volume of research methods in CA was published, which shows you the whole process from the beginnings of an idea to how to collect data, how to find a phenomenon in data, and how to write up and get published. Our fourth question was, which research venues do you believe have great future potential? And she answered, I would like to see CA spread beyond the languages it currently investigates. While CA originated in the USA in the 1960s, and by far the most work has been done in English in the US and in the UK, there are thriving communities investigating other languages and cultures in Europe and Japan, and increasingly in China. There is an exciting group of young CA researchers in Latin America too. I would love to see it spread farther in Europe and to really take off in other parts of the world, such as Africa and Middle East too. In our fifth question, we needed to address the challenges that CA will have to face in the future. And we were told, I think and hope CA will continue to thrive as long as people are fascinated by the mechanisms which underlie social interaction, but they have to invest time and effort and, as I say, be prepared to focus at a forensic level of detail. CA, as with any academic discipline, has to compete with ever-decreasing attention spans, but for me, personally, the time and effort is richly rewarded. And our last question was, how can society profit for conversation analysis research? And Rebecca told us, there is a whole stream of applied CA research, for instance in medical settings, showing how doctors can interact more successfully with patients, or how they can resist patients' demands for antibiotics. So that's one obvious, rather specific way. And with the advent of AI, there is an understandable concern that people will soon be able to use computers for everything. But while computers are terrific at harvesting information, they can't do what a human being does. Interacting with another person is the essence of what it is to be human. Conversation is where the world's business gets done. Each of us owes our very existence to conversation. Our parents met and had a conversation. We conduct our lives through it, building families, societies, and civilizations. So how we break bad news, how we manage family arguments, how we invite someone for a coffee, all these are basic things we have to do, and CA tries to capture how we do them. So in that respect, CA research contributes to us knowing more about ourselves. That is the most general way in which CA can benefit society. And that would be all for today. We hope you have enjoyed the video, and we would like to thank again Rebecca for her answers. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you wish to stay up to date with the latest linguistic content from the Linguistics Research Seminars. Thanks for watching!